Joining us now is Senator David Perdue, a Republican from Georgia. Senator Perdue shares President Trump's goal of getting rid of the diversity immigrant visa program and has introduced legislation to do just that. Senator, good to see you. Thanks for coming on the program tonight. I have a hard time after a hideous event such as what we saw last night, seeing that and then seeing people come out today who still can't connect the dots. I called it willful blindness, but it's more than that, really. This is a dangerous dereliction of duty on the part of politicians to keep this scam of a diversity visa program going.
This president called this out last year, and I give him high marks that this year he's backing our RAISE Act that Tom Cotton and I are putting forward. And he talked about it today. We want to go to a merit-based immigration system. But let's talk about this diversity lottery situation. This is a big fraud. It's fraught with fraud itself. It has Social Security fraud. It has identity fraud. But worse than that, Laura, is that 30% of the visas given out under this system go to countries that are identified by ICE as harboring and promoting terrorism. In fact, the largest recipient country for these visas is the third largest is Iran. This is an insidious program. It needs to go away tonight.
Who are the big champions of this program?
Well, the left, they want diversity, but what it does is...
But does business want this too? Is there some cheap labor? No, it's not about business.
No,
this isn't the guest worker, nothing like that.
No, this is all about a program that was envisioned by Ted Kennedy and Schumer years ago.
And Bush, George H.W. Bush. He signed it into law in 1990, correct?
He did.
I see there's a line or a Venn diagram maybe. It's the politicians on the right and the left who are more kind of the globalist types, who they love all these international trade deals, regardless of their effect on the workers. They love the idea of amnesty or massive amounts of guest workers coming into the country. So globalism and their quest for diversity trumps safety, security, workers' rights in the United States, and I find that also to be troubling.
Well, most other countries in the world have already moved to protect their national borders, their national security, and to provide for the economic growth, and they do that within the immigration system. Canada and Australia, decades ago...
How about Japan? How about New Zealand? Try to get into New Zealand today,
exactly.
Japan.
But they went to a merit-based system where they bring the right kind of people in today relative to the economy, and we don't. We have a family-based chain migration system that's got to end.
Explain that. So a lot of our viewers tonight, they hear chain migration, like, what the heck are you talking about? So you're going to bring in your old grandmother who's dying of cancer from Mexico, you heartless, horrible senator from Georgia, you don't care about the poor Mexican grandmother dying of cancer. That's what they always say. They go right to you're heartless and cruel.
Well, today we bring in 1.1 million green card recipients a year. That's about twice our historical average, but that's not the real problem. The real problem is about 70,000 come in that are skill-based. Another 70,000 are immediate family. The rest are chain. That means that a recipient can name their grandmother, their cousin, their uncle, or whatever, and then that recipient can name their grandmother and uncle and cousin. And so it goes on and on and on. And so after decades of doing this, we have now an immigration system that does not fit the economic needs, and as we saw in this loophole, it does not protect our national security.
And what does it do for assimilation, which is another issue, I think, that, again, people are afraid to talk about this because they're called, all these names, or they're nativists, as John McCain said. When you talk about, like, are you assimilating, or are you creating mini Pakistans, or mini Irans, or mini Somalias in the United States, where we see this in St. Paul and Minnesota, and we see this in Michigan and Dearborn and in Hamtramck. You see this in different parts of boroughs in New York. And again, most of the people are fine people and they work hard. But it kind of, the melting pot seems to just be melting, melting down. There doesn't seem to be a melting pot in some of these areas. Not all, but some of them.
But this is the biggest difference since 1990 in the Ted Kennedy idea, and that is that if you look at our historical immigration, they did that. They came in, they assimilated in communities, they learned English, they developed a skill, and they contributed to the economy. What we have going today is this politically correct, we want an open border. I mean, that's fundamentally what the progressives want, is an open border.
They don't want any border. They don't want any deportation, really, except maybe murderers. But other than that, they want no deportation. They want everyone can come and go, and it's more of a global order. That's what they've always wanted.
Well, and what we're trying to do is add some reason. By the way, what we want to do in a merit-based system and eliminate chain migration is the same conclusion the Democrats came to under Bill Clinton. President Bush commissioned, George H.W. commissioned a commission to look at
I'm
immigration.
sick of commissions, personally. I'm sick of these commissions. Every time I turn around, there's another commission. They never get anything done.
But here's what the Democrats did. They suggested a merit-based system. and Clinton acknowledged that and supported that. So this should be a bipartisan approach to this thing.
How many people, what's the percentage of immigrants in the United States today who've come in under a chain migration? I read somewhere it was ridiculously high. It's like 13 million over the last 25 years.
I'll give you the number every year. It's 1.1 million, and only 140 is the worker and the immediate family. You do the math on that. That's over 900,000 people a year are coming in the chain migration iteration. It's a geometric progression. It really is.
So it's exponential. It keeps
absolutely
going. Are you confident that the Democrats will limit chain migration? Otherwise, they're going to kill the DREAM Act. They don't limit chain migration. They're going to kill the DREAM Act. Will they do it?
Well, we'll see. I mean, this is where the self-interest on the other side, we're going to test that against what's good for the country.
Senator, thank you so much for coming in. It's great to see you as always.